Terry, and I serve as the Director of Business Solutions for McLane Intelligent Solutions. As some of you may be aware, we provide IT support. IT support, which means help desk, project management, cloud solutions, application development. We just acquired a company out of Dallas in January, whereby now we can help companies that may have different software applications that need to talk to each other and share data between each other. And so now we have that capability as well. We have our own cloud in Waco, and also one we're just opening up in Dallas. So we're trying to become a full service IT firm where anything related to IT, whether it be software applications or cloud or help desk support, we're able to provide that for small to medium sized companies throughout Texas. Well, and not only throughout Texas, but now even throughout the world. We have customers in Canada and the United Kingdom, Puerto Rico, related to software development, software application. So thank you, Kaylee, for the opportunity to come and talk a little bit about what has become a new normal, which is working from home. And I've entitled this a little presentation called Shift Work, with the idea that we've all had to shift. We've had to shift not only where we work, but how we work and how we communicate and how we interact with one another. And so it's been a very unique time, to say the least, as many of you know, when it comes to, I mean, even today, just doing this presentation via video conference with multiple different backgrounds. As you can see, I have a little island tropical paradise on mine, and it's a very different engagement. It's been interesting, as I'm sure most of you have noticed, even watching the national news, CBS or NBC or ABC, and the correspondents or the host are in their home or in their basement doing live newscast from their home. It's a very, very interesting time, to say the least. So one of the things, I thought this was kind of a relevant quote: change may not always bring growth, but there is no growth without change. I think this time in our enterprise commercial experience will certainly bring about, it certainly has brought about change, but I think what this crisis has done is it's forced companies to do things differently, to become more efficient, to become more kind of pushed companies into doing things they may not have otherwise done 3 months ago. And I believe, I know it's been the case for McLane Intel, that it has helped us mature. It has helped us become a better service company to our clients because of this crisis. I am very proud of how we have responded during this time. It has stretched us. In fact, to give you an indicator of how it has stretched us, we had double the amount of help desk tickets entered by clients within the first 3 to 4 weeks of this crisis than we've ever had in the history of our company. And that happened basically overnight. But what's even more impressive to me is not only the way we've been able to manage the volume of support, but also what's increased is our customer satisfaction. We have a higher customer satisfaction rate than we had the previous 90 days prior to the crisis. it really made me nervous as we were entering into this season, because as you can imagine, this crisis has stretched capabilities of almost every company who have been in a service type industry when it comes to IT support, or when it comes to logistics, or and so that's just a couple of examples of industries that have been stretched, and it certainly has stretched us. And I've been pleasantly surprised to see how well we've performed during this time. I don't know if that's I mean, that's certainly a tribute to our men and women who are on the front lines servicing our clients. But I know that McLane Intel is not the only success story where leaders have become more confident in their frontline capabilities. So, at any rate, I believe this quote is a reality that you cannot change, you cannot grow without change entering into, whether it's an organization or whether it's in your personal life and personal development. So, what this crisis has done is created opportunity, is what how I like to couch it. It's created opportunity to reveal some things about our organizations, and the perception that clients, customers, prospects, or even vendors, partners, whatever perception they have of you during this time, is a reality to them about what it means about your organization. So, I just wrote a little statement here: how customers and partners perceive our readiness, adaptation, and execution of change is an indication to them of our operational maturity. Mature organizations desire to do business with other mature organizations. I know that that's true for us, and I'm sure that's true for those of you who are business leaders. You like to partner. I would assume you like to partner with companies that are mature and provide excellent product, excellent service, and you don't settle. You don't want to settle for less than where you are as an organization. The COVID crisis has revealed the operational maturity of every organization in some way, in some form, and especially when it comes to the deployment of current technologies. This little picture you see to the right, what do you see? Do you see a woman? Did you see a woman first? Or did you see a saxophone player? And it's interesting how many people see this in very different ways initially. And it takes a little bit to see both. But oftentimes in business, we want clients, or we want vendors to see something that's not there, or we want them to see what our intent was, or we want them to see where our heart's at. And no matter how much we want them to see our motivation, how much we want them to see our intention, what they see or what they perceive is their experience with us. And so when it comes to technology deployment, we want people, we want clients, we want partners, business associates, we want them to experience positive interaction, which leads us to the two primary business interactions. So I'm gonna let you take yourself off of mute for just a second. So there are two primary interactions that almost every organization has daily. Those interactions are with two things. Let's take a guess at what those might be.
Employees and clients.
Okay, you got it right. People is one. So every single day, organizations interact with people. What would be number two?
Businesses?
Close. Businesses are, I assume that businesses
Are made up of people.
Yeah, right. So the second thing that we interact with on a daily basis
Oh,
is
technology.
data. Right, data.
Data. There we go.
Yeah, we all have to interact with data, and some, or most of us interact with data on a daily basis and with people. And so these two interactions are touched with technology. So let's look at the first one. People interactions. So face-to-face interactions aside, there are three common business interactions we have with people every day, and they occur in three ways. I'm going to let you take a guess at these three ways. How do we think about your daily interaction with people, and how do we engage with them? Primarily, three different ways.
Phone, email.
That's right. That's two.
Text messages.
And we're living one of them right now.
Right. Video. Well,
Video conference.
Video.
That's right. So those are the three primary ways, business interactions. Those are the three primary business interactions that we have with people: our email, telephone, and video conference. It's amazing, isn't it, how much has changed in just the last few months, but even in the last 20 years. I mean, email was just kind of starting to be a thing 20, 30 years ago. I mean, I remember I was an operations manager with FedEx, and retired early from FedEx, and email. We started working with email in the early 90s, but it was primarily just inter office type things. We really didn't have email externally, but only in the last 15 to 20 years has it become something that that we've started utilizing outside of our own organization. So when you interact in these three ways, the goal, if you're aspiring to be a mature organization and to be perceived as a mature organization, it's my belief that your goal should be, you want those interactions to be seamless, agile, and pain-free when it comes to working remote. You don't, especially when you're dealing with clients or with prospects in your business, you want to come across as though you know what you're doing. You know the old cliche, you get one chance to make a first impression. A lot of deals have been lost in the last 90 days by companies who failed to utilize technology to their benefit and to make a good first impression. A lot of deals have been lost because how we deploy technology in the marketplace is an indicator of our maturity as an organization. And so, for instance, email is an example. The questions I think we should be asking as a business: is our email hosted in the cloud? And is it easily accessible? Is it spam filtered? And is it backed up? One of the most, I guess, embarrassing, for lack of a better term, is to be doing business with someone, and there's a transaction, particularly maybe a financial transaction or a purchase order or something like that, or an important communication, and you get asked, or you're reminded about an email that was sent. Remember, I sent you that email, back in February, and we discussed this, and you agreed to do this, and you agreed that this is when you would have it done, and you have no record of it because your email wasn't backed up. You were using something free. You were using something that has no retention life beyond a couple of weeks or 30 days at the most. And how much you wish you could go back and retrieve that email where you could confirm, whether or not the person who is stating that they communicated something to you actually did communicate something to you. I can't tell you how many times I have been able to save a business relationship because I was able to go back and retrieve something that was documented and backed up that I could pull back from a year ago and say, no, Mr. Client, this is what we communicated, and this is what we agreed to, and here's the email that we have on record documenting that. So email is not only a very important technology to communicate, but it's also an important record to have on file if you ever need it. So that's one thing we recommend, is that you have a good email, you have a mature email service, that it's spam filtered, and that it's backed up. I'm just curious, I want to take a quick poll. Does anybody on the call today, does anyone receive more than, say, 50 emails a day? Does anybody get more than 50 a day?
No.
Not really.
Does anybody get more than 25 a day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, between 25 and 50.
Okay. So here's a question. Is it challenging for you to manage email, to kind of keep it organized, I guess is the question I'm trying to ask. Do you find it challenging to organize your email?
Sometimes.
Have you heard of a service called SaneBox?
No.
Nope.
I started using SaneBox about 4 years ago, and it has really been helpful to me to keep my email organized. I believe that time management, that a crucial piece to time management is having good systems in place. Whether it be a calendar, whether it be your inbox for your email. I have found that SaneBox is a really good tool to use. For instance, I can get an email, like I think I even used it for this call. Kaylee sent me an email on Monday, and I wanted to, or not Monday, I'm sorry, last week, and about doing this presentation. I didn't want to lose track of where that email was. So what I did is I used my SaneBox. It has a futuristic place setter. So I have a little folder that's called Sane Next Week. And what that'll do is any email that I put into that folder will pop up Monday morning to remind me about something. Whatever that email is related to, it will remind me, and it automatically pops up. And so that's what I use. That's what I use email for, because oftentimes, if you don't have a good system in place for email, you can lose track of things, and you can lose track of things that you've made a commitment to, or things that you want to be reminded of. But just it's sitting in an inbox isn't very productive to go through your inbox every day to be reminded of stuff. So I use this tool. It is such a great tool, and it's really inexpensive to use. And you can go and look at the pricing. It's at sanebox.com, SANEBOX.com. And if you find email a challenge, it might be worth taking a look at. Secondly, is telephone and how you want to come across when people are trying to get a hold of you. So, Kaylee, I'm just curious. I haven't asked you this question, but Kaylee, are you at home or are you at the chamber office?
I'm at home.
So, kudos to Kaylee or whoever put this in place. So, I needed to reach Kaylee this morning, and I didn't have her direct line. So all I had was a Temple Chamber office. So I Googled Temple Chamber, got their phone number, called the phone number. Who do you want to contact? Please enter the last 3 digits of the person's last name you want to talk to. I typed in BLU, that is Kaylee, extension 125. Please make note of this. And the next thing I know, Kaylee answers the phone. So that's an indicator of a mature organization who wants to come across. I had no idea where Kaylee was working. I didn't know she was at home. I just called the chamber's main number, and it forwarded her extension to her home, to wherever she is. Did it come to your cell phone, or do you have your?
We have them hooked up to our cell phones. It came to my cell phone.
So that's a great indicator of an organization who's thinking about business, about people interaction. They want to make it easy for people to find them. So good job, Temple Chamber, for doing that right. And then lastly, video conferencing is the third way we interact with people. Does the application we use make it easy for others to join? Is it secure? So I know we're using Zoom today, and I don't know if all of you have, if everyone on the call is familiar with Zoom's challenge over the last 30 days, 6 weeks. Yeah, they've had some significant challenges with security. In fact, you can go to there's multiple articles out there about some of the security challenges that they've had. And so Zoom was never intended, even according to the founder of Zoom, they never intended for Zoom to be this widespread. And they certainly didn't intend for it to be the backbone of business in the world. And it has become a widely used. I don't even know how many subscribers. I think somebody was mentioning on the call earlier how many subscribers that they've jumped up.
300 million.
300 million users. That is unreal. So as you can imagine, this crisis has, kind of going back to my first slide, or second or third slide, is that this has revealed some things about Zoom that they never intended to be exposed, or they didn't know. I'm assuming Zoom. It doesn't make sense for them to hide a flaw or a weakness in their application. But what this crisis has done is it's revealed some things about its maturity. Somebody missed something along the way. And so that's a good thing that they caught it, and that this crisis has revealed some things about the organization and about its processes. Also, when you're picking a video conference tool, you want to be able to share your screen, send documents, utilize chat features. So as you're thinking about these things, there's another article that's really good. I think I have, it may be on cnet.com. Let me see if I've got that handy. I don't think I do. Yeah, I'll have to, but I think it might be cnet.com where they went through and they did pros and cons of every video conference application on the market. And it was a really, really good article. So if you're shopping for a video conference tool, I would recommend that you you find the article that shows the pros and cons of the different video conferences. Okay, data interaction.
What was that? I'm sorry, where did you find that article?
I think it was CNET or PC Magazine.
Okay.
If you type in pros versus cons of video conference applications, I bet you'll find it.
Okay.
There weren't that many. Oh wait, let me see if I may have it on. I may still have it on Google. No, I don't guess.
Okay, I can find it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I didn't have it saved. Yeah, but if you'll search pros versus cons video conference, I bet you can find it. Okay. Data interaction. So when it comes down to data interaction, businesses are primarily concerned with two things. They're concerned with security and they're secured with system performance. Oftentimes, you get one without the other. You may have good system performance, but you have some security vulnerabilities, vice versa. So again, what this crisis has done for many organizations, it's revealed some weaknesses in one or both of those areas. So we have a couple of recommendations. Number one, we recommend that for your organization that you have a secure sign-on service that has two-factor authentication. Does anyone here not know what two-factor authentication means? And it's okay if you don't. Everybody familiar with that term? So we've been using it for, I don't know, probably a year now at McLane Intel. And it's been a great feature for us. And we've actually helped a number of clients move over to that. And another service that's kind of newer on the scene is called single sign-on software. And it's essentially you sign on one time and all of your applications are accessible. Essentially what it's doing is it's keeping you from having to enter another login and password to open another application. It's essentially saving those credentials in your environment and keeping those stored for you. And it's just you only have to log into your computer and then you click on your application and it pops up for you. You don't have to sign in again. And so those are two things that we recommend you consider using. A second thing that we think that everyone should be using is what's called a remote desktop connection or a virtual desktop infrastructure. And this has more to do, there's a couple of reasons for that. One is because of security. There's encryption that is provided within these applications, but also it's also for performance. A lot of companies have discovered that when they sent all of their employees out to their homes, and then all of these employees tried to log in to the server in unrecommended ways, it put undue pressure, stress on the system. And one of the primary ways to avoid that is to use a remote desktop connection or a virtual desktop infrastructure. And so if you're experiencing any problems with that, or you're not real sure about the security of your application, we can certainly direct you in that area. And then lastly, these are not. We're recommending that you do all three of these, not just one of these, but all three of them. And then the last thing is to have a business class firewall that has virtual private network capabilities as part of your network. Okay, those are the data interactions. We've covered the data interactions and the people interactions. So this is kind of a question time. what has this crisis revealed about your organization and what are your next steps? So I'm just curious if anybody has some stories that they'd like to share about what this crisis has revealed about your organization. And it doesn't have to be technology related. If you just want to share for everybody else's benefit, some things that you've learned about this season that we've just gone through.
Well,
This-
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, this is Barbara Bozon, and we do affordable housing. And one of the things we've learned pretty quickly is how much of our business we can conduct via email, phone, text, fax, different ways with our residents without having them come into the office a lot more easily than I thought that would work. So we're gonna continue that even after this, and find more ways to have documents on our website that they can fill out, because they have to come in every year to redo their
Right.
leases and stuff. So and then just the resilience of our staff. I mean, everybody is adjusted, and we're still operating fine. So that's been nice.
Well, that is incredible. So Barbara, it sounds like your organization has gained some efficiencies as a result of this crisis, that you're going to actually be able to streamline processes, take some manual labor out of the equation in terms of efficiencies. Is that my understanding?
Yes, and we believe it'll be more efficient for us and for our residents. You know,
That's awesome.
they won't have to make the trip up here. They won't have to bring their little kids up here.
That's incredible.
So that'll be nice.
Yeah, that definitely supports my initial theory, is that this will bring about this will reveal some things about organizations and our processes, and provide opportunity for growth. And it sounds like you guys you're headed in that direction. That's amazing. That's really cool. Thank you for sharing that, Barbara. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share about this season?
This is Christine Stevenson. I'll just jump in here. I've been very blessed. I've been ahead of the curve with my business. I'm a financial coach, and I work primarily remotely. So I've been using Zoom for a long time. But what I have noticed is I have to slow down a little bit with other people that are newer to Zoom and don't understand the technology. And even though it's very simple to use, but I've had to just become a little bit slower in explaining how it works, how to access it. Here's my Zoom room. Sometimes I, send a password to them. Other times I don't. But I've actually had to slow down a little bit and let others kind of catch up.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, it's isn't it interesting that we didn't necessarily intend to be facilitators of change, but it's kind of forced us to do that, right? That we're having to kind of coach people along to how to mute their volume, or
yes, have good video conferencing.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Christine. Anybody else have any great stories? Lyle?
Yeah, this is Lyle Meeker. Fortunately, I've been working from home for 12, 13 years because we have a home-based business. But starting to utilize Zoom is just enhanced being able to get out there and contact people and do our presentations for our holistic technologies. But I'm also involved with civic organizations, and we can't meet. Our Lions Club can't meet, so we do Zoom club meetings. So that has helped us to stay in communication and
That's
contact.
awesome.
Because if you don't have a personal meeting, you lose communications, you lose strength in your organization. And then plus on the board of Feed My Sheep, we're able to still have board meetings and communicate and get business done. And I've been learning more about the Zoom. Was just using, free video or free conference calling and just doing that. But it's nice to see people's faces and communicate than just a voice on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Lyle. Sounds like you guys are doing a great job, and it's so cool to hear that you're really trying to maintain not only serving the community, but maintaining the social interaction and relationships with your Lions Club and your civic organizations. That's awesome. Barbara, did you have something you wanted to share?
Oh, are you asking me again?
Oh, I thought maybe you took yourself off of mute to
Oh,
share something.
I was just listening to what he said.
Okay, very
And
good. All right. Pardon?
I was just gonna say, but like Lyle, I didn't think about that. Our Rotary Club has gone to Zoom meetings too. So yeah, and it's a great way to have board meetings and committee meetings and all that kind of stuff. So
Great. Well, and those organizations are so important to our communities, and continuing to do the work that those organizations do and serving each other, but primarily serving those that are in need. Yeah, that's really crucial to the fabric of our communities. So one last thing, if you know anyone or you have any need related to IT, IT support, or if you need an assessment for your organization, generally speaking, we work with companies that have domain controlled servers in the environment, and they have 10 to 200 users in the environment. But we do work with companies that are smaller than that if they have a software application need. We do have that capability now to do software projects. So if you know anybody or if you have a need, feel free to reach out to us. You can email us or call us, and we'll be happy to have a conversation. It doesn't cost anything to have a conversation. Does anybody have any other questions?
do you have like a fee for the assessment, or is that just something that's done on a case-by-case basis?
That's right. It's a case-by-case basis, and you can call us and we can talk about your particular needs, and then we can discuss fees and the scope of work and all that it entails.
Okay.
Anybody else? Well, it has been a pleasure to be with you this morning. Thank you for the opportunity to come and talk about something that I love doing. And again, if we can ever help, just reach out and let us know.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you,
time.
Kaylee.
Thank you.
Jen.
Thank you.
Just real quick before everyone jumps off, I do want to remind everyone that we have another Good Morning Bell County meeting tomorrow at 8:30. Dr. Patsy Shulock is going to speak to us. So you can go reserve your spot there on our website, just like you reserved the spot for this one. And then on Friday at 8:30 in the morning, we have someone from the Texas Attorney General's office coming to speak with us. So you can reserve yourself a spot with that as well. And that is going to wrap up today's meeting. Thank you all so much for joining us. And then if you have any questions, you can always email me or any of the chamber staff, or as Ben said, give us a call. We're all on our cell phones. So thank you all very much and have a great day.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. See y'all later.